Welcome. Thank you all for being here. I'm just going to give a short introduction before we get to the main event. So I wanted to introduce Esther Makumbi. Esther comes from Kampala, Uganda, where she has an undergraduate degree in business administration and management from the JJ University, and she's currently pursuing a graduate degree in accounting. 10 years ago, Esther was a small business owner and a mother of 7, raising 7 young children, when she and her friend Salma Semakula, who is also Ugandan but was living here in Maynard, Massachusetts, started talking about the need in Kampala, the need of young families with children who not only did they not have enough clothes or enough food to eat, but they didn't have a safe place to leave their children when they went to work. And Esther and Salma decided to start a children's play center. And this amazing woman right here, with 7 young kids of her own, said, they can come to my house and play at my house. And now 10 years later, Esther is still hosting a preschool and 1 grade of primary school in her house. That's 4 classrooms of children, 53 students. And from there, I'm going to give it over to Esther to talk about how the program has grown. So thank you, Esther McCready.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you so much,
all of you, for having me, and a big hello to all of you. I'm so proud and happy to be here on behalf of myself, on behalf of the children, and on behalf of the women. Well, Hannah talked about the school, so much of that I'll not go back to. But I just want to give you a little bit of how we actually started. She mentioned it was me and my friend Salma. We had this normal conversation. Initially, we had a business together. But while we're doing this, we also had a women's club. We would come together once a month just to share ideas. We're all in business, and then maybe gift each other, talk about what women do, like what we need to do. And that is how we came up, because we realized in the community we live in, so many women were leaving children with fellow children. And those who used to go with them to work used to take them under the stalls, like in the market. And you know how dangerous that is. So this is how it came about, the idea came about, but we did not start immediately. What we decided was that maybe we can start gifting what we have. Many of us have a lot at home, clothes you're not wearing, clothes that children have outgrown. You keep them piled, you hoard the clothes. So we said, no, we can start by gifting what we have and then talk to the community. And then we'll get a better understanding of how we can start. So after doing that, we started as a play center, as she just told you, but we realized that was not enough. And so that is how we started. We started as a preschool. I just want to give you a brief of where we stand as a school, because today we are talking about the power of Nano. We have 53 currently supported by Clover Foundation, courtesy of all of you, going to a private school in the community. We have 52 currently at the preschool, different levels, and we also have primary within us. I'm glad to tell all of you that we have 25 graduates, people who completed primary last year. All of them passed in grade 1. That talks a lot about the quality of education these kids are doing. And last term, which was their first term in secondary school, all of them did so well. So that is a tick, tick, tick. I'm so proud of that. Anyway, today I'm here to talk to you about the power of Nano. We realize that helping the children alone is not sufficient. These families have people we are not helping. We choose 1 child per family. Remember, they have others who are not studying, left back home, and these are families that are struggling to meet even their other basic needs. So we said, educating 1 child is not going to be sufficient. It's not going to do the impact we hope to put in the community. And that is how we started the Kisoboka Nano Finance. In my language, Kisoboka means it is possible. So we started that initiative, and this is how it goes. We serve the mothers who have children with us because we already have the bonding. It's like a community. We call it the Clover family. It has now become the Clover community because of the bonding, the networking. And when we come together, whoever comes to Clover with a new child, whenever we enroll new children, you automatically become a member of the Chisoboka Nano Finance. So we give you $10 in the beginning, then you go and use it. This is money that is interest-free. We do not put pressure on any lady to bring it back, so you bring back as you can. Then we increase the amounts, depending on how the business is working. When you bring back the $10, then you take $20. Remember, many of you here are asking, what can $10 do? Most of the women we serve have vegetable stalls. Some of them make paper bags. Many of them make paper bags that they sell to other people on the roadside who do roadside food vending. And most of them have simple. So we realize that even as little as $10, someone who has been selling maybe only cabbages on her vegetable food stall can buy tomatoes, onions, carrots, have a variety, and the business grows. We have seen so many people grow, the businesses have grown. I want to tell you a story about one particular lady. She's called Harriet. So Harriet, we were in the community. As I was moving around, usually when I come back, I visit, because these are people who are living around me. I met a lady in her maybe late 70s, and as we talked, interacted, she was weaving her mat. I asked her, you have these grandchildren here. Do you live with their mom? She told me her story. She said, no, it's a long story. I don't live with their mom. Their mom is in the village. I brought the kids here so that me and them can work on certain projects. They can sell my vegetables while maybe I go doing laundry for other families and all that. But these were school-going children. So I asked her, do you mind if you come to the center? I live here, and then we have a further talk. I discovered that she had these grandchildren. She couldn't send them to school, and that's how we started. I enrolled her into Clover because she was a bit elderly. She wasn't doing heavy work, but she used to interact with the babies, the young ones, the very young ones, telling them folk tales and all that. And so when these children started, because now she had some income, she invited their mother from the village, and this is Harriet. Harriet came and enrolled in Chisoboka, and she was very active. We gave her $10, she brought it back, we gave her $20. Her stall grew. It was very successful, and all the ladies who were in Chisoboka were encouraged by the way she was multiplying the money. Most of the people we have are mothers. In Uganda, we have so many single mothers. So most of the families we serve, unfortunately or fortunately, are single mothers. So because of the way she was growing, she was chosen by the ladies to become their leader. And that is how she became the coordinator of the Chisoboka initiative. When the ladies come together once a month, you bring what you have brought back. If you're able to bring back $1, if you're able to bring back $2, it's up to how the business has been working. Then we collect this money and give it to another lady. This money is their money. We have told them, and they like the initiative because it is their project. You gift another mother, then another day we'll collect a sum of how much we have collected, then we give another mother. So it rotates within the mothers. Whoever brings back, we give another one. Sometimes if we see that your business requires $30, then we give you $30. The ladies have created a kind of bond that I cannot speak for. Because initially, as I told you, people used to leave their kids at home. But now, because of the connection, they feel like they are sisters. If I had to travel somewhere and I have no one to watch my kids, they are so connected that they'll call one mother and say, you know what, because of this and this and this, I may not be at home. So can you watch my mom? And I mean, can you watch my kid? And that is something that we are so proud of. Kids are left under the care of fellow mothers. The mothers' businesses are growing. There are so many things that we do not provide for, as I told you, but all those basic needs now the ladies are able to provide. Now that the number is big, we are 76, we have 3 groups. We divided the ladies into 3 groups to make coordination easy and the connection easy, and also introduced economic activities like making bar soap, making liquid soap, making charcoal balls. We call them charcoal balls. We get charcoal sand, mix it with, we make charcoal powder, mix it with the sand, and you make the balls. They last longer when you put them on the charcoal stove with normal charcoal. So because of those ways of saving and introducing them to what they make, life has become so much better. Remember, we are talking about small amounts of money, but making very big impact in the community. We do not take in mothers who do not have children with us because we feel the connection may not be there. The reason as to why they need to bring back the money may not be there. They have no attachment to us, though so many mothers would love to join us. So we feel more connected as the Clover Moms. And once in a month, we invite someone because we feel we want to make the ladies better every month. We bring someone, I told you, to train them in soap or maybe charcoal balls, but we also bring someone to teach the mothers the beauty of saving. So we started that last year, and you save so little. You save what you have and what you can manage. But at the end of the year, when we divide this money, because we bring the money, how much was saved, each one has a little book where they write with a coordinator, so and so has saved maybe $5 today, maybe another day $1. So we know who has saved how much. So we divide that money, and the ladies are free to buy what they needed for the whole year. Many of them say, oh, I'm saving for this. I've always liked to have this. I've always longed to have this. So for the 1 year, I should say it was very successful with the women saving. And this is just $10, $20, $30. Another lady I would like to tell you about is a lady, mother, we call her Mami Scovia. I think Edie sponsors her kid. So this lady started with paper bags, as I told you. We gave her $10. She was struggling with doing laundry. She didn't have enough jerry cans to ferry water to her home and do the laundry services that she ought to do. So when we gave her the $10, she started with paper bags. The paper bags were so good. Everyone was waiting for Mami Scovia at the end of the day in the evening in the mango town where we stay, because she does them so well. And then when she made good money, we added her and she made more envelopes. She supplied a bigger area. She moved into piggery. She bought 1 pig for the money that she had saved for the whole year. I'm glad to tell you that she now has 1 mother pig and 10 piglets. She has hope. Part of the reason why we do these things is to give hope to the community. We need women to feel that there's hope and that they can do it and it's possible. Let them believe in themselves and then they can better their lives. So that is how the Chisoboka Nano finance works. If we give you money and we feel you're stable enough, because we have mothers who have, I should say, graduated, because they have taken the money over and over and over again, and now they come and say, you know what, I have been successful, I have done well, I can leave this now for new mothers, and I can be able to pay for my child secondary school, and that is very good. Last year we had 25 graduates, but out of those 9 mothers were able to now send their kids to secondary school. So I feel that is very encouraging when they say, you know, because of this money, we are able now to move on. Can we give a chance to more mothers? And that is how it grows and expands and becomes bigger and more useful to the community. This is small amount of money that revolves within the women, rotates within the women, but makes great impact, not only for the children and the families, but the community. The community now looks forward to when they'll have their children enrolled if they get the chance. Unfortunately, we only take a few because of space and because of funds, of course. We can only take in 15 or 14 new mothers every time we enroll. But there's that anticipation that if I get into this, maybe I'll also be able to do this, I'll also be able to do this. I will live my dream. I'll be able to educate my children who are not being educated. And so for this particular mother, Harriet, the one I told you about, who is the coordinator and who was very successful beginning with $10, we got 2 graduates. Her 2 sons graduated last year. They have gone on to secondary school. She is very supportive of her children. And so those are all fruits of the Chisoboka Nano Finance. Her stall has since grown. She has included things like charcoal. And this is something that needs more money. So we see an example within the center of the community, growing so big, using so little in the beginning, but making so much impact at home. And by the way, when we have also realized that when a lady is empowered, she's working, there is less conflict in the home. We have seen homes that were fighting all the time because the mother brings nothing home, she's just seated. But now that she's working, they come and tell us there's peace in the house because I can also contribute something. When the kids are lacking books or maybe they're lacking this, I can also provide. And if my husband is catering for this, I can cater for this. So those are all the benefits that we have from the Nano Finance project. I'd like to thank you so much. This is very little money, but it makes a very big impact. To most of you who have walked with us the journey, we've made 10 years this year. We have registered tremendous success. When you see people rising, the children thriving, the number we have, we started with 38, we have 140. That is a tremendous improvement. When you see the mothers rising up, we have given them a lot of hope. We have given them the challenge to go out and work and better themselves and come out of poverty. We believe and preach the gospel that everything is possible if you put your heart to it, if you decide to work. And they have embraced the spirit of working, and that is how they are progressing. And we are so proud of all of you. Thank you so much. On my own behalf, on behalf of the community, the mothers, everyone got to know that I was coming. So they send their greetings, their love, the teachers, and the Ugandan board. And I'd like to recognize someone. He's not with us, but he's one of the founding members, and that is Peter Hilton. We started way back in 2013, and it wouldn't have been possible without Peter's consideration, Peter's kind heart, Peter's giving heart. Every time I'd be on the phone with Peter, he would tell me, hang in there, it's possible. There are times when you need people to give you hope. Even me, who is at the director level, I need to hear that. He would say, let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can do this. So it's a special moment for me to recognize Peter Hilton. He's the founding member here in the US. He's the one who made most of the connections we have here before us. As much as we would have liked to do so much, we wouldn't have done so much without an extra hand. And so thank you so much, Jody, for stepping in the gap. Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you so much for listening and giving me this time.
If anyone has any questions, I'd like to open it up to. Yes.
The children attending your school, is that free for the children, or do they pay?
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't give you that background because I thought today was, but this is a free school. It's the only free school. We had 2 free schools in Uganda, 1 closed. So we are the only existing free school, preschool. Our kids don't pay anything for as long as you qualify, and the qualification is that the community leaders we involve, we have local leaders, we call them LC chairpersons. We involve those, we involve the councillors, we involve the church leaders, the mosque leaders to do the first sieving. So they bring families, because now we are known. It's not like a secret. Even Kampala State Council, which is the local governing body of our area, recommends children. So when they bring them, it's upon us as a board to investigate more. Have they brought a relative? Have they brought someone who can? And so we go up to their places of residence, we do underground checkup and know that this child qualifies to be helped. So when you come in, it's free of charge. And that is why the demand is so high. We always have 100 plus on the waiting list, but we can only take in 15. It's hard. We disappoint so many people, but that is what we can do. We sometimes give a little consideration for grandmothers, because we have so many grandmothers within the community, and they come to us and say, we have these children, and what we are doing is very little. We can't even afford the public schools. We have a public school just next to us. It's called Mackay Primary. They pay around 100,000. That's around maybe, how can I say, it's very little money in dollars, but they can't afford it. Honestly, they are making mats. So when will they sell these mats and take the children to school? So we bend the rules a little bit to accommodate those who are a little bit old. Yeah.
So does secondary school cost money then in Uganda? Like elementary school, is that free?
No, even kindergarten is for paying in most of the schools. It's only that we have a free one. So
No, but
elementary school is for pay. Yeah, it's for pay. Even high school you have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay.
okay.
Yeah, I was just going to add to the question that you asked about, is it free? Yes, it is free, but we here in the United States are the people that are funding the preschool. So Edie's here, she's the chair of the sponsorship program. I used to be the sponsorship chair. There's opportunities for our community to get involved, to sponsor a child. I sponsored 3 children now for 10 years almost, right? So it's just an opportunity to be able to support the school and support, individual families and children.
Yeah, I agree with what Lisa is saying. When I said free, it's not like all costs are on. We have people behind it, so we come together and bring what we can and make it free for those who wouldn't go to school.
Esther, I'll just add from a U.S. perspective. So there are public schools in Uganda that are supposedly free, but they're not really free. Children have to pay for uniforms, and there's all sorts of school fees. They often come with a huge list of supplies they have to bring to school every year, things that we would not even think of in the U.S. We think of like maybe kids have to bring some paper and some crayons. They have to bring full reams of paper, a broom, cleaning supplies, food, cement, all sorts of things. Yeah, that we would not, and that's at every level of public education in Uganda. So things that we just don't have to supply our kids here. Yeah.
And that is why the mothers or the people we always ask, why don't you take them to the public schools? They can't afford the public schools as well. And there's also a fee. On top of what they require them to bring, there is a fee. It's not free as it sounds. Yeah. All right.
Do the Clover mothers stay Clover mothers when the children graduate?
Yeah, we always remain a community, and we are in touch. We stay in touch. So even when the children graduate to high school, we are still a Clover community. That is how I'm able to know how the children performed. And this year, we supported them, and we are supporting them. We haven't let them go. So they are still a part of us. They are still a part of us. We don't know how far we will take them, but they're still a part of us.
And I'll add also to Esther's being a little bit modest, but not only throughout their education, once they leave the Clover preschool and go into primary and secondary school, even though they're not on our campus every day, Esther has a relationship with their teachers, with their headmaster. She's in contact with them and is getting their grades every term. So there is a very tight-knit community there. And when mothers need help or when their children are struggling, they come to this woman and ask for her help or her guidance.
Yes, please.
So when the Clover Mothers preschooler moves on,
Mm-hmm.
are they still active with your organization in getting Nano finance?
When they leave the preschool,
Yeah.
when they're in primary, yeah, they are. I
So
have
they
my
would continue
Harriet,
to do that.
the lady I'm talking about, her kids have graduated. She had 2 girls who are not going to school, and one of them is enrolled in school because of the success that she has gone through. So all the 4 were not in school. Right now we educated 2. She's educating the other 2. They continue to get the money and bring the money back, and also come for the Friday meetings. We have Friday meetings where we collect whatever we need, and then we have the one-time meeting in a month where we talk, where we train, and all that. Yeah. Yes, please.
Question about the Nano Finance program. Now, you have a college degree, you're getting your master's degree. Obviously, you know a lot about business. But you're talking about women in your community that have no education, that they were doing laundry. So can you talk to us how someone goes from doing laundry to running their own business through Kisaboka? Like, how do they get the knowledge that it takes in order to start running their own business?
Good, thank you. So the kind of businesses I'm talking about are not big businesses that would require someone to have books of accounts. These ladies, maybe let me give you an example of Mami Ryan, who has been in the laundry business for a long time, where she has to move from one home to another, looking for people who have clothes to do laundry. We don't have washing machines, we do our clothes manually. And she does that, maybe she can do 4 homes or 5 homes in a day. These days, because of the pandemic, unfortunately, most of the mothers who were doing laundry lost their jobs. I should say that, because you all know that during the pandemic, no one wanted their gates knocked. And because many families learned how to cope without the help of people coming in to do laundry, so many of our mothers lost that kind of job. But for Mami Ryan in particular, she started a stall because she wasn't selling vegetables. But this is a stall where you have 5 pieces of cabbage, you have these pieces of this, it's not like a very complicated business. The thing that we are introducing of saving is not at a high level. These are books, most of them, the coordinator fills with the mother. So it's as simple as you have brought 1,000 today, we fill in the 1,000, and then you sign against the 1,000 so that you're sure that is the money you last brought. And you can also add it up with the coordinator to know that this is what I have saved for the year. So it's basic knowledge. We haven't gone into complex bookkeeping or maybe businesses that they wouldn't be able to handle. These are simple businesses and they are their own choices. Some of them will say, for my money, I'm going to have 3 bags of charcoal. And they know how much to get from each bag of charcoal, and they know if they've made a loss or not.
Esther, could you talk a little bit about the mothers that mentor each other?
That mentor each other. And by the way, the way these ladies have grown up the ladder is that they learn from each other. We encourage, during the monthly meeting, we encourage ladies to tell their success stories. So that for those mothers who are struggling, they learn from the mothers who are moving forward. Because not everyone will be moving at the same pace. These mothers come and say, for me, I was doing this, and then when I calculated maybe the cost of paper, for those who are making paper bags, I'm just giving an example, the kilo was so high, so I diverted into this, or I found this paper cheap, or this is what I do, or I combine this idea with this idea and it's working. Mothers pick ideas from each other. And then we also encourage the mothers who have challenges to share during this monthly meeting, where what is not going wrong, and then they seek advice, and then they give us what ideas they think they can do best in. And then for such mothers, we evaluate and say, maybe she needs a little more financial help, or maybe she needs to change the idea. Maybe we can go and visit her more often and see something so that we help each other. There is the sisterhood that has come out of all this. They feel they want to help each other. They want to know. And even for the Clover children, these mothers have become community mothers because they know the Clover children. So they look out. If someone goes early in the morning unaccompanied, they are concerned. Oh, I met Barbara going alone to school. Oh, Barbara goes so early in the morning. How do we do? Maybe she can go late and move with Sharon. So there is so much that has happened within the community because of the initiative. The togetherness is something that is so strong. Yeah.
I have one question.
Okay, Hannah.
Can you talk a little bit about how the mothers came through the COVID pandemic with Isaboka and the community garden?
Okay. So again, we have this coordinator called Harriet. She has been a pillar to the rest of the ladies. Remember when she came from the village, she was digging. That was her source of income, that was her everything. So as she saw herself progressing, and during the pandemic we had, everyone was struggling to see how they survive. She introduced the backyard gardening. We did a lot of backyard gardening, and with a clover, we have a clover property that we haven't yet developed, but it has a lot of land. So we did backyard gardening. We used to do a lot of vegetables within the sacks. If you have small space, then we'll do vegetable growing within the sack. We just put holes and then we grow the vegetables. When we started it and the ladies could produce their own vegetables, even with the small area they have, they embraced it. And this was an idea from Harriet. And it was so good because we were giving out free vegetables. Even now when it's season and we have our gardens, every Clover mother now enjoys the free vegetables. They take home plenty of vegetables. We also supply the stalls of the mothers with more vegetables free of charge as a way of boosting their businesses. If we have eggplant, because we grow a lot of eggplant, we do supply the parents, but we also give to the stall owners free of charge. We have this surplus. If we have maybe lettuce and it's in plenty, we don't only eat it, but we also. This helped us so much during the pandemic because us as a foundation, we did around 4 things. We used to have a drive within the community, just sensitizing people, just giving free information, giving out flyers of how to keep yourself safe. But most of the work was through mouth because most of them don't read the flyers. But we also supplied food. It wasn't like large amounts of food, but I would say nutritious food. We have soya porridge, posho. We have what we call posho. I don't know how you call it here. Maize flour. Okay, maize flour and red beans. But we're not doing it as Clover because it was illegal. We used to go through the community leaders and the government. It was only the government supposed to supply. We applied and they said, fine, you go with the security and move around and give. So our families, they should have struggled, but not as much as they would have if we hadn't supported them. So that's what we're doing, plus a vegetable growing, and we're fine, we pulled through.
And how many families are part of, so now the children have moved on to school, but how many families are part of the Clover community now?
76.
Wow.
76, and at that point, we decided to split, to have 3 groups. And 2 of our teachers, pre-primary teachers, are coordinators. Then we have Harriet coordinating the bigger group that we had before. So we have 3 groups, and it's easier for me to have their meetings because it was growing so big and sometimes some people would not come. It's easier to listen to a smaller group and address their issues as opposed to the 76 altogether. Yeah. So,
Just wondering what the mileage radius is for what we're talking about. Like how big of a community is
How
it?
far is the
Yeah,
community?
geographically, how big is it?
How far away?
Yeah, how far away do people live?
they don't live so far away. I think It's a neatly connected community because most of us don't own big chunks of land. It's a very small piece of land. And when we are enrolling these, among other factors, we want to know where the child is going to come from to come to school because we know the kid is going to walk. So if you start getting someone who is maybe a kilometer away, that's too far for the kid, and they don't have a car, that means the kid is going to walk to school. How do you do it? Sometimes they use borders, but not many people can maintain the border. They can't afford it. For a term, that's too much.
I'll interpret a little bit. Boda is a motorcycle taxi.
I'm sorry. So
Also, I would say, as a comparison, I don't know exactly what the population of Busega is, but the school is located in a community called Busega, which is on the outskirts of Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. I would compare it to like Alston or Brighton to Boston. So it's a community within the city, but all of the children live within, as Esther said, maybe 1 to 1.5 kilometer radius of the school.
How long is a kilometer?
A little bit less than that.
Almost a mile.
Yeah.
This is a mile.
So that's how it is. It's neatly connected. Most of us know each other. I have been there long enough to know most of the people. And that also helps me when we are sieving because we know who is lying, who is not qualifying. Of course, there are people who go through others because they need a free education, but that is our job, to make sure we are serving the most vulnerable in the community. Otherwise, if you get someone who is able, someone who is not is missing out. Yeah, that's how it is. Yes, please.
Are other communities interested in following your model, or is the Clover community interested in spreading to other communities?
We would have loved to. First of all, we do not have the funds. We know everyone wants to be a part of us, but can we afford it? That means if you spread so much, then you deny the people who are already existing the opportunity. The funds we have are limited, and so we have to rotate within the mothers to make sure they support us. It's a way of supporting us, by the way, because we only help one child. We would have loved to have 2 in a family, but everyone in the community says, oh, if you take 2 from her family, then when will mine ever get the chance? So we want to try and be as fair as possible. We don't discriminate against religion, so it's on a fair basis. And we try as much as possible to balance the numbers. Sometimes it's hard. I was giving members an example of a child who came in when we had closed completely and we knew we had enough and enough. Then there's this innocent girl, she came back, she was around 8 years, knocking on the gate, and when we opened, here's Patricia. Yes, Patricia, we knew she had a brother, and she's here. Can I please have a chance to learn? Yeah. And then you look at how to turn away such a child, because she was asking, can I also have a chance to learn? My brother comes here, he studies, I go back home and I help my mom with the dishes. I want to come and study. We had a top class that was full, and she was older than the kids there, but I felt we needed to give her a chance. Patricia is now doing so well. She has graduated to the Eaglets Academy, which is the private school where we take our graduates from kindergarten, and she's doing so well. I'm so glad we gave her the chance. We sometimes bend a few rules here and there, like, what would we do? This is a girl who is asking you, can I please? Can I please? She didn't even come with her mother. Yeah. So that is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
What is the distribution of boys and girls in your school?
Typically, it would have been 25-25. But as I said, it's sometimes hard. Sometimes when you're enrolling, you have more girls in a particular year. For years that it balances out, we do. And then when we are looking at the criteria of who qualifies, you may have a slot for one more boy, but then there's this one girl who is living with her grandmother, who is not studying, who is at home. And there are 5 of them in the mother's house. So you bend a little. And for that year, you may have 26 girls and maybe 24 boys. So it's not always standard in terms of 25-25 because it doesn't work out that way. Yeah. Yes, please.
As the children grow up and go to secondary school, will most of them stay in the community, or they go to bigger cities or other countries, and for the most part, what happens as they go?
Because most of them have originally lived there. Most of it, for this year, because we have only had one candidate here, and that is the last year. So most of them are still with us, except 2 girls, but we are in touch with them. Yeah, because some of them rent their houses. It may be a situation where they can no longer afford a house in Kampala, so they have to move. Those are the situations we've had with 2 girls. One is Mariam, the Hilton's girl. She moved to the outskirts, but we are in touch with them.
But do you sort of hope that they will, as they get older, even stay in the community? Would that be your hope, or is that likely what would happen as they?
My hope is that for everyone we have helped, because it's very hard for me to be selfish and say that I would want them to come back and only help the Busega community. For those that we have helped, but are in the villages because of situations that are beyond them, I would gladly pray and hope that they can help the communities where they are, as long as they are comfortable. We don't have to put it on them that they have to be in our present community, because we are educating them to be better people and bring back change in the communities that they live in, wherever it is. Yeah. Yes, please.
As the children graduate from Clover and they go on to Eaglets, what happens to them? How qualified are they to be in that school with other kids who have come from private school? Is there, do you see a difference? And what do you see as these kids are coming out of your school and going into that next level?
I love that question. I love it so much. So one thing that we are so proud of as Clover is that we have been able consistently to produce children who are able to compete with other children who have come from paying kindergartens in the primary school that we go to. We get feedback. We get these random calls from teachers, and they are, wow, how do we do it? Your kids are so confident, your kids can read, your kids are good, your kids, and that gives me strength to go on. So actually they compete with others, because no one admits children without doing interviews. There is an interview in October, and we prepare our top class to go for the interview. They go for the interview. We have not had a single child who has failed to go into primary 1. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to say, I think I've been to the Clover School 3 or 4 times over, a period of years. And it's so interesting, to see the baby. They call them the babies. How old are they? 2?
2. We have the very little ones. They are 2 and 2.5, going into 3 like that. They are the youngest we have.
But 2, I'm an educator. I've done music with the children, and they come and their music, with everybody. It's on Esther's front lawn, and then when they do activities as a big group, it's on Esther's front porch. And I remember the last time I was there visiting the oldest class, really how impressive it was. The command that they had of writing and reading and speaking English. I mean, they have to know English to go on.
Because that is the language they use in schools. So when we are at school, we use that. But back home, yeah, most of their parents speak Luganda. So at home, they are free to learn their language. And I think I like the fact that they are able to use 2 languages at that tender age. Most of them, even my children, first learned their language, but I knew they would learn the English at school. And so they are both good. All my kids can speak Luganda fluently, but they can also speak English like they're English. Yes, please.
Can you tell us about the teachers?
how do you get them? Are they paid?
Yeah, our teachers are all paid. It's very hard to get teachers who give you quality education for free. So, for free, I mean, how do they survive? So we have someone, he's called an education consultant, and I call him whenever we need a teacher. We are lucky that we have had teachers who do not go away frequently. We've had them for a long time. We have our teachers for long periods of time. So we call someone if we need a teacher, and then we do the interviews. We know what we are looking for. We look at the qualifications, then yeah, we hire you. Because, for instance, when we are dealing with baby class, we know what exactly we are looking for with a baby class teacher. Yeah, so they are paid and they are recommended by someone who knows the teachers.
I would imagine they love to work.
They do love to work because they are motivated.
I mean, they love to work at the ski.
They love what they do. For instance, I'm here right now, but I get daily reports. I get daily reports of how the day went. I love to see the videos of the playtime, so each teacher knows that they need to upload those videos, and I need to see them, and then we discuss a little, and we know how the day went, what didn't go right, what went right, you need to keep the communication. The good thing with modern technology, you can always keep in touch, so I always know what is going on. Yeah.
I've observed these teachers, they're very good. They're very qualified and conscientious, and they prepare a wonderful curriculum for the children, and it's all, they're having fun, but they're learning so much.
Yeah. I have been to around 4 kindergartens while I was here. I think you have a very beautiful atmosphere, you have a nice curriculum, but of course learning continues. I have learned a lot of stuff that I can take back home, the way you deal with your themes and how the themes come about. We have our themes based on our learning areas, but I'd like to take something new every time I move around. So I told my teachers I have a lot, we'll have fun. Yeah. What we can afford, of course. We can also improvise. I saw many things that we would improvise with.
I mean, anybody who's an educator knows that being a teacher is a lot more than just opening books and teaching children. There's also, you're a little bit of a psychological counselor, you're a little bit of a mommy, you're a little bit of a lot of things. In your community, even though we have Kisaboka that's helping these women get started with their lives, there still has to be a lot of needs. So how do your teachers, how does your school kind of cope with that level of need?
I'll talk about maybe the psychological need, because not all of us are on the same level of peace of mind, I should call it. So, and we are dealing with many mothers. During our meetings, we make it as clear as possible that if someone needs someone to talk to on a personal level, they are welcome. If they need another mother to be in the conversation, they are so welcome. I should say most of the mothers prefer to talk to me on Sunday. Sunday is a day when I'm at home. So Sunday is a day where we can sit on the porch and discuss and see how you can help them beyond what Clover is doing. This is something that may be an idea, something like maybe someone just needs someone to talk to. And I'm glad that for those ladies who are in the different groups, they have found so much comfort in the different teachers of Clover Foundation to discuss matters. So not all of them have to come to me. They can go to Teacher Oliver, they can go to Teacher Joy and discuss. And we see how, because not all situations need money. You know that? Not all situations need money. Yeah. Some people just need that talk and tell them that situation is similar. I have gone through it. That situation is something you overcome. and then you find someone smiling. So those are problems that are not within our docket, but we sometimes are able to solve. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Time for maybe one last question.
Okay.
Joey.
Yes, Jenny?
Esther, you've been here over a week, and I know you got a special tour from the library the first time you came here, and now you're here giving a little talk. But what you people don't know is Esther went to the book sale.
Yeah, everything was so nice. I wanted to grab everything.
I read the books home, and I don't know how you're going to get them home. Your daughters each took books, and your husband. And I don't know how you're going to get through, but I guess one of them got through already, brought the books, so.
Yeah, and I would like to say thank you to Johnny. Yeah, because I picked out the books. She offered to buy them for the kids. I was going to pay for them, but she offered to pay for them, and that's so nice of her. But when I was picking them, I wasn't even thinking about the weight, because because here is a section of everything you want, that you desire to have. Every time you're looking at a book, you're imagining a certain child, you're beginning to imagine a certain class, you're looking at their smiling faces. So it was an exciting time. It was last Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and please hang around if you have more questions. Feel free to come talk to Esther. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I do appreciate